I know the day I married this man, I knew that I was marrying my best friend. I knew that when things were getting bad, that I was lost and confused and hurt, and I stopped talking to him. And I know that when I said I wanted a divorce, I really thought I was done. I would have thrown away one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Kim and I first met when we were in college.
He'd walk me to my dorm, and I just remember thinking, he's such a nice guy. This is such a nice guy.
I fell in love with Kim because she just has a beautiful heart.
I do remember when the music started and I turned that corner, I knew I was walking toward the right man. It was a total shock when we found out we were pregnant.
The fun, I mean, it was just...
There's so much joy, they play, everything is more fun.
The first time Kim ever said she wanted a divorce was pretty early on.
I don't think it was one thing. I think it was things piled on top of things, piled on top of things. And I felt like I had to leave my marriage to find a way to be happy again. I'd get mad.
Early on, she would get mad and we'd have a fight and she would say, well, let's just get divorced.
I'm done.
I'm done. And I didn't take that seriously. In some ways, it wasn't serious. But in other ways, it was indicating that there was something deeper wrong. When I knew that she was really serious about divorce, that was absolutely devastating. I was terrified, and because of that, I did all the wrong things. I redoubled my efforts at being a better me, of who I was, not changing anything, but I was looking at my good points, because I said, you know, I'm a pretty good guy.
And the more that I felt like he was trying to manipulate me into staying, the more determined I was to go.
Because it seemed too desperate. So at some point I was like, okay, I'm gonna do what I think is right. I'm gonna change me, because that's all I can do. And I'm going to look at each situation, rather than saying, well, what would Kim want me to do here? I'm gonna say what I want to do.
He came in and he said, listen, you may not be happy here. I'm not happy here, but if you can't treat me like a human being and you can't be civil to me, then don't let that door hit you on the behind on the way out.
I stepped back. I let her have space. I let her see, I let her be by herself. Because as long as I was in her face, she was only going to see me and what was wrong with me. She was never going to see what was
wrong with me,
wrong with herself.
Yeah,
and
we call it drop the rope. You know, as long as somebody's on the other end of the rope tugging, you're going to pick up the other end and tug also. But if he drops the rope and there's nothing to push against or pull against, you're just left there. And that space is exactly what you need to be able to just settle in and think about what, you know, is this really what I want to do? Is every marriage going to be saved? No. But what we teach and what's worked for us does work. If anything's going to work, it's going to work. So before you pull the trigger and destroy everything that you've built, slow down. I mean, what's the hurry? Slow down, get the help, get the right help. Get you a pro-marriage counselor who knows how to deal with this and get some help. Call us. We know what we're doing. And I'm so glad that I didn't follow through with that, because I would have thrown away one of the best things that ever happened to me.
When you're looking for a marriage counselor, there's something you need to know about them. Most marriage counselors can be at best described as marriage neutral. That's not what you expect. When people go to a marriage counselor, they expect that the marriage counselor will fight for their marriage. But that's not most counselors' training. Most counselors' training is on the individual. And so they look at it and they say, well, if she's not happy, then she needs to go. If you're not happy, then you need to go. They're not fighting for your marriage. They're fighting for the individuals in the marriage, and that's not the same thing. My wife's practice focuses on fighting for the marriage because they think that that is an entity that is worth saving. And if that's where you're at, then you need to find a marriage counselor that will fight for your marriage.